First video with the new camera, I think we should take a selfie together. Ready? Here we go. Everybody smile! Do you know the difference between a weak internet and an internet that has strength? A weak internet you buy from an ISP, but an internet with strength, now that's a mesh network. Hi, my name is Emily, and this is Blink Pop Shift. While media on the internet might be decentralized, allowing peer-to-peer sharing and communication on social media, the internet itself is not so distributed. But before we go into all the saving, what the heck is a mesh network? Most of you currently buy your access from an ISP, right? Well, mesh networks do away with the need for ISPs by wirelessly networking a web of independent nodes without passing through a centralized authority. Information travels across the mesh, hopping from node to node, with each node automatically choosing the safest and fastest route from point A to point B. If there's an outage and a node goes out, the other nodes simply redistribute traffic. Simple enough, right? But you might be thinking, hey, what you're describing is just a big local area network, and if you want me to use this thing, it's gonna have to be way more than just local. So how do these geographically bound networks hook up the rest of the internet without going through an ISP? The same way the ISPs do it, actually, through network access points. For example, Spain's communally built and owned wireless network GUIFI.net is connected to the Catalonia Neural Internet Exchange Point, through which they gain access to all of those transatlantic cables that make the internet global. Mesh networks are smart, cheap, indie, grassroots, and might just save the internet. We pretty much all agree that monopolies are bad. Competition is good. It drives innovation, lowers costs, improves customer service, and keeps companies from squeezing the market for every last possible penny. And in the US, we even have laws that prevent there being only one supplier of any good. In theory, there's lots of ISPs selling lots of different connections to the internet. AT&T, Comcast, AOL, Time Warner, Dish, and a myriad of little guys filling in the gaps. But theory is not practice. The problem? Unlike phone lines, which according to FCC regulations must be rented to any company that wants to provide service to that home or office building, no matter who installed and thus owns the physical cable, the wire that delivers that sweet, sweet internet nectar does not. By the rules of he who smelt it dealt it, if you own the wire, only your bits get to pass through. So with current centralization and FCC regulations, corporations get to have local internet monopolies, even if that local is just my house. But our current internet is also vulnerable to government-instituted crackdowns. Most of you watching this live in the US, UK, Australia, Canada, or Sweden. Countries in which the risk of a sudden government crackdown on internet access is pretty low. But that isn't the case in, say, Turkey, where the government instituted new regulations to let authorities censor the internet at will. They wanted to silence dissonance. Man, it is so much easier to compromise when only one side gets to talk, am I right? Up top! Boom! And in an age when internet privacy seems like a naive dream, mesh networks can get around all of these problems. Governments and corporations can't just come in and flick the switch on connectivity. Mesh networks are resilient. Even if a node is shot down or stolen or run over by a black windowed SUV or hit by an EMP pulse, or eaten by a horde of Wi-Fi hungry nanobots, you would have to hit a huge number of nodes in the network to make it totally ineffective. And bonus, without all those wires, it's much cheaper to establish a mesh network over a large geographical area. And it's not just governments out to get our internet. Hurricanes and earthquakes are also taking down infrastructure for their own zesty amusement, but meshes are near disaster proof, especially mobile meshes like Servo, which launched after the 2010 Haiti earthquake, which uses mobile phones to connect people even when disaster strikes. And mesh networks aren't just for personal computers and handhelds. Mesh networked vehicles are on their way as well. Recently here in the US, the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration put out new rules that will mandate that all new cars have car-to-car communication. The thinking being that when cars can tell each other things like their current speed, direction, and proximity, will be able to reduce accidents, fuel consumption, and speeding. Before brake lights are even seen by a driver, cars can report to each other that there is hard braking ahead, letting cars even following miles behind slow their speed. This kind of communication, especially when cars are linked up to traffic lights, may also help with things like traffic flow and make way for emergency vehicles, and even do things like sensor aggregation to map potholes over an entire city. But what do you think? Is it time for an internet native model of connectivity? And would you host a node for your local mesh network? You can find me at Emily Eifler, and as always, thank you for watching and get curious.
Is the show really over?
Hi screen, how are you? Everything's good. I'm just playing with the focus, you know. I got this great new job, and it's great. I'm working on some new virtual reality stuff that hopefully in the future I'll be able to share, but for right now I just want to tell you guys that I really appreciate everyone who supported these videos and continues to support them. There'll be a few changes. There might be a few changes in scheduling or frequency, but I really hope to share a lot of new ideas with you guys. And hopefully take you some new exciting places. So stick tuned for that.